Okay, I'm going to do number 11 now, and I'm not going to do 12. Just try 12 on your own. Um, what does help is if you go online, you could look for like a row echelon calculator. That kind of helps with making these decisions as to what to do to each row and all that, and then it makes it life a little bit easier. So look for that. That's what I'm saying is, row echelon. If you look for a row echelon calculator or reduced row echelon calculator, that would be very helpful to you and kind of help you think through this a little bit more because these are very complicated. Okay, so I wrote the augmented matrix down here. I multiplied the first row by 3 and then added it to the second row in order to get this. I'm doing this so that I can get zeros and ones, okay? I multiplied the first row by -2 and added it to the third row, and I ended up with this. I just recopied this down here so I could work with it. I multiplied the whole second row by 1/11 so that I can make this 1. There we go. I multiplied this row by a 4 and added to this row so that this would become, notice all the zeros are going to stay the same. So this becomes a 1. Oh, I'm sorry, a 0. It becomes a 0. Yeah, I wanted that to be a 0. And then I just copied this over here and I multiplied the whole this row by -2 and added it to the first row. And that is it for me. That is it. That's the best that I can do, the closest I can get to our desired. That's why it's called desired. That's what we like to get to. As long as we have, all zeros and ones, I even have a -1 in there, I guess we're okay. I'm going to go down to number 13. 13's a little bit quicker. We just have 2 rows and 3 columns. So here's the augmented matrix of this problem in your number 13. I think we did it in class, but it's a mess. So I just wanted to kind of clean it up a little bit. So if you take the first row and you multiply by a -1/3, that gives me that 1. And then you're going to take the first row and multiply it by a -4 and add it to, or -4 and add it to the second row. That gives me that 0 there. I just recopied this over here. And I'm going to take this, in order to get this to be a 1, I'm going to multiply by a -3/7. That gives me that 1, okay? And then in order to get rid of this, I've got to multiply this row by a -4/3 and add it to this, and that would give me my 1. Okay, and so that would be your final, I'm sorry, that should be a 0 there. There we go. Okay, yeah, because that 1 times -4/3 is a -4/3. -4/3 plus a +4/3 gives me a 0. Okay, so I got my 1, 0, 0, 1, and then this is my A and my B down here. So that one's good. Number 15 is really long. Let's just jump right into it and you can take a look at it. Once again, those online calculators help. Go ahead and take this, break it down into an augmented matrix. I multiplied the first row by 1/3, ended up getting this because I wanted this to become a 1. I want this to become a 0, so I'm going to multiply this 1 by a -4 and do it to the whole row. You have to, if you're doing it to this, you have to do it to the whole row, but I'm really just looking at this right here. So 1 times a -4 is -4 plus 4 gives me 0. So, and then it also, when you do it to each term, it changes all the other terms in that row. I just recopied the first and third row. I recopied this whole matrix down here so I could work with it. Multiply this by 2, this first row by 2, and add it to this one. That made me get a 0 here. That's why I did it. if I take this whole and I want to make this into a 1, so I multiplied everything by -3/8. That gave me that 1, and then it changed these also. Notice it doesn't change to 0. That's nice because, 0 times anything is just going to be 0. I copied this down here, multiplied the second row by a -1/3 and added it to the third. That gave me my 0 here that I was looking for. Then I'm going to multiply just this whole row by a -1. There we go. That changed that to a 1. I recopied this down here. I multiplied this row by 2/3 and added it to this row. That's going to give me the 0 that I needed here. And let me double check that. Shouldn't that be as -2/3? Let me double check what I was doing on that one. Yeah, this should be a -2/3. Sorry about that. Because if I take 1 times -2/3, that's -2/3 plus 2/3 is going to give me the 0. That's what I was going for here. And so I have my 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1. Okay, and then this is my A, B, and C. All right. So that's number 15. Good luck on the rest. Like I said, calculators help. Those calculators that are online to help sort this out and help you think about what to do with each step.